Good day to you. Hola. Hey, bub. Hello. Hi, and welcome to Beyond the Classroom with me, Mr. Macy. Today's lesson, tone. My source for today is this, M.H. Abrams, Glossary of Literary Terms, highly useful. If you are interested in literature, I highly recommend you get a copy for your own bookshelves. I'm going to start out with the definition of tone as found in the Prentice Hall textbook that we use. It's an author's attitude towards his or her subject. However, the idea of tone goes back a lot further than that. In fact, as far back as Aristotle, his Rhetoric, the idea of tone is presented as being a part of discourse, although Aristotle doesn't use the term. This is indicating two different things that are very important. One, both a mode of speaking. Typically, Aristotle is linking the idea of tone to public speech. It's also linking the idea of a specified audience, which is very important to the idea of tone. It isn't until the 20th century, in fact 1929, with the critic I.A. Richards in his book Practical Criticism, where in chapters 1 and 3 he defines tone as literary speaker's attitude to his listener. So just like the introduction, we can be rather serious, we can be sarcastic even, we can be playful, we can be flippant, prayerful even, familiar if you're in front of a group of friends, or formal if you're in a classroom. So there's all sorts of different tones that we can use and that authors use and speakers use every day. However, it isn't until 1976 for English readers, with the translation of Mikhail Bakhtin's Freudianism, a Marxist critique, that we finally have what we would think of as the full, complete definition of tone. In fact, he links it to two different things, both how the speaker addresses his or her listener and his or her attitude toward the object under discussion. It's that point, finally, that we get back to the simple definition that we have in our Prentice Hall textbook. Now, occasionally, the narratee, in other words, the person to whom a speaker is addressing his or her story, is explicit. Sometimes we know the individual being addressed in a story because the narrator will tell us. However, very often in literature, that's not the case. In fact, it is an implied auditor that we have, and it is only through picking up on our author's tone that we're able to determine the kind of relationship between the author, or the speaker, and the auditor. There is no escaping tone, and this is an important thing to think of for your own life. You don't escape tone in ads. You can't possibly escape tone in music. For instance, in one of my favorite songs addressing the idea of tone, Hook by Blues Traveler.
It doesn't matter what I say, as long as I sing with inflection that makes you feel that I'm coming. Some inner truth of that's reflection.
You don't escape tone in literature. You won't escape it with your friends. You won't escape it with your teachers. You won't escape it with your family. One important question to ask yourself in your everyday life, though, is what is the speaker or writer trying to achieve through a specific use of a particular tone in whatever the instance may be? Knowing that lets you understand his or her motivation potentially a little bit better, and lets you understand where you fit into the overall picture. Is the person trying to tell you a story? Is the person asking for your money? Is the person trying to tell you something that could be very important and valuable to you in the future? It's only through careful listening and understanding of tone that you can uncover that mystery. Until next time, I'm Mr. Macy. Enjoy your reading. God, it's scary.
As long as it takes, and it don't